Welcome, my beloved Primary 4 students. I'm sure you do study your lessons well so far. And you remember that we talked about different systems, like satellites. لو انتوا فاكرين الساتلايتس كانت example على السيستمز. System يعني group of parts that work to do a certain job. والساتلايتس دي اللي كانت بتساعدنا ان احنا نقدر نشوف الموفيز ونتفرج على كل حاجة في التي في. Don't forget to write this new word inside your KWL chart اللي احنا اتفقنا ان احنا نرسمه من اول حصة في concept 4. هنكتب الورد ونكتب المينينج بتاعها. Today, we will start our 5th lesson, Share, in concept communication and information transfer. We will learn how scientists use their knowledge and information about animals, communication techniques to invent a tool that can help humans. النهارده هنتعلم ازاي الساينتست هيستخدموا معرفتهم عن طرق التواصل عشان يعملوا أداة تفيد الإنسانية. As we usually do at the end of each concept, we will record all the evidence we collected about the investigative phenomena and the main question. Do you remember the main question? How do animals, including humans, use light, sound, and other methods to send and receive information? Get your tools and be ready for our today's lesson. Let's remember the investigative phenomena Firefly Light Show. To think how can we explain the phenomena once again after the information we got, and this will be through an activity number 11, record evidence like scientists. This activity is on page 111. Let's remember the Firefly Light Show together. Don't forget to record all the important information which may help you in your explanation. المرة دي واحنا بنتفرج على الفيديو احنا مش بنتعلم معلومة جديدة، احنا بنستكشف حاجات جديدة عن الفايرفلايز اللي احنا اوريدي عرفنا عنها جزء من المعلومات. Let's watch the video.
This pulsing light show in the mangroves of Thailand is produced by thousands of fireflies. But this is no ordinary firefly display. This symphony of lights is being conducted by artists Robin Meyer and Andre Gverder.
This is interacting with nature on a whole new level.
These guys have hacked nature to create a beautiful artistic collaboration between humankind and insects.
So how did these artists get thousands of fireflies to dance to their human tune?
The duo set up about 40 LEDs in the forest and programmed them to go on and off at regular intervals. The fireflies responded by flashing back.
Fireflies are actually not flies at all. They're different kinds of winged beetles. And different species flash for different reasons, to warn off predators or to attract a mate. Some species don't flash at all. Robin and Andre have chosen to use a species of fireflies called Pteroptyx mullici, which are among the 1% of fireflies that synchronize their flashes in large groups. They flash naturally at regular intervals, but if they notice another firefly nearby flashing, they'll interrupt their own pattern and start over again.
Every time it resets, the neural cycles of those two individual fireflies will become more closely matched. Within a few cycles, the two individuals will synchronize and begin to flash at exactly the same time.
Eventually, the whole tree begins flashing in unison. This process is called entrainment.
Robin and Andre have basically used the fact that the fireflies can't tell the difference between another firefly flashing and an LED light flashing to basically hijack the synchronization process in the video. These guys have used technology to imitate nature, but then nature turned around and imitated that technology right back.
After my students watched the video of the phenomena, I divided them into groups and asked them to start discussing what they watched together. I found that the first group linked the Firefly Light Show to adaptation and senses. فاكرين ال adaptations في concept 1 وال senses في concept 2? They said, Fireflies have certain adaptation inside their bodies that allow them to light up. After their investigation, they found that fireflies are nocturnal animals. يعني بيحبوا يبقوا صاحيين وactive at night زي الباتس وزي الowls. They use the light that they produce to adapt to the environment, to communicate and meet their needs. أول جروب اتكلم عن الادابتيشن والسنسز وقال ان الفايرفلايز عندهم adaptations in their bodies يعني structural adaptations. لو انتوا فاكرين اللور بارت كان بيحصل فيه chemical reaction هو اللي بيطلع اللايت، وابتدوا يربطوا ده بان هم بيعملوا الاكشن ده لان هم nocturnal animals يعني they are active at night. The second group find similarities and differences between how the fireflies use light and the humans' use of light to communicate. They said that fireflies use flashes as code to communicate with each other in their group. Humans also use light codes and tools like the lighthouse that guide the ships or the mirrors that mountain climbers use. تاني جروب اتكلم عن ازاي في شبه واختلاف ما بين الإنسان وما بين الفايرفلايز في استخدام الضوء. الفايرفلايز بيستخدموا الضوء للتواصل، احنا كمان بنستخدم الضوء في المنارة اللي بتعرف الشيبس طريقها، وكمان بنستخدم الضوء في المرايات الماونتن كلايمبرز عشان يعرفوا الهليكوبتر ان هما they need help. Some of them focused on the communication pattern. They said that fireflies use flashing patterns for different purposes, either to attract a mate or to warn predators from coming close. They also said that fireflies could change this pattern once they observed another group near them, and this was the group of artists proved when fireflies react with flashing LED lights. All of these ideas must help you answer questions on page 111. You saw different answers and they were all correct. Your information must be organized, scientific, and related to the question. We should go back to our first explanation in the first question on page 95 and compare it to our new understanding of the phenomena to know the difference and then evaluate. When you answer this question, ask yourself if you used new scientific vocabulary you didn't use before, like the word code or send and receive, maybe information. Did you add any new information you got from your investigation or more example collected from the lesson? My students get from their research that fireflies are nocturnal animals. Did you use the similarities and differences relation to compare the phenomena to new information you learned? Like humans use light signals. Use these ideas to answer the second question on page 111. You have some time to answer, then we will discuss the main question together again. In previous concepts, we learned that writing a claim is one of the useful ways that can help us organize our scientific explanation. في الدروس اللي فاتت اتعلمنا ازاي بنستخدم الكليم اللي هي الافتراض عشان نقدر نفسر أي ظاهرة علمية. While we write a claim, we write a sentence that answers the main question. It shouldn't start with yes or no. ما ينفعش أقول yes or no. لازم أقول sentence بتقول أنا شايف أو متوقع ليه ده بيحصل. Then, support your claim by writing different evidence and examples. The third step is to explain how your evidence is related to the claim and support it. يبقى احنا دايما لما بنفسر أي ظاهرة علمية بنكتب الكليم الافتراض then we write evidence إثبات then we explain the evidence. ليه الإثبات ده بيؤكد الفرضية أو الافتراض اللي أنا حطيته. But let us first review together some claims that your friends wrote and think if they are correct or not. Let me write some of them for you. Let's check some claims. أول claim عندي humpback whales are mammals. Is it a correct claim؟ فاكرين قلنا إن claim لازم يبقى one sentence that answer the main question. Is it an answer? I don't think so. So, this one is a wrong claim. We can't use it as a claim. Let's think. We said that the claim is a sentence that answers the main question. That's why I didn't choose this one as a claim. طب what about the other one? The other one is that the fireflies have wings and can fly. Is it a claim? Do you think that this will be an answer to our question about communication in animals and humans? I don't think so. This is not an answer to the main question. The last claim is fireflies and humpback whales use different ways of communication to meet their needs. Fireflies and humpback whales use different means of communication to meet their needs. I think this one is a claim. يبقى the first one wasn't a claim and the second one wasn't a claim, but this one is the right claim to our question. Think about the main question. Exactly. This is a correct claim. One sentence, answer the question. Let's think of pieces of evidence to support this claim. To write correct evidence, they must be sufficient. It means they must be enough. يعني about 2 or more sentences. You can find information that supports your claim in the text and videos that we studied. Don't use the information that doesn't support the claim. هنرجع تاني للفيديوز وللتكست وندور على sentences تشرح لنا وتأكد لنا الكليم بتاعنا. أي حاجة ما بتأكدش الكليم ده مش بنستخدمها. هنستخدم 2 or more sentences. احنا هنا اتكلمنا على الفايرفلايز والهامباك. يعني هناخد 2 sentences عن الفايرفلايز and 2 sentences about the humpback. مثلا we can say that humpback whales, which we heard in the video, the scientist said that the sound repeats in a certain pattern similar to musical tones. We read in the text how the sound pitches differ in winter, feeding and mating seasons. كنا اتفرجنا في الفيديو ان الويلز بتستخدم different notes كأنها song, musical notes, كأنها بتعمل أغنية. وكمان حدة الصوت بيختلف على حسب السيزن وعلى حسب الحاجة اللي هم محتاجين فيها الصوت ده. مثلا if they need to mate is different than if they need to search for food. We saw in the video how fireflies flash in a certain pattern and can also change this pattern when they see another group flash near to them. لو انتوا فاكرين كنا رسمنا الفايرفلايز وهي بتنور واتفقنا انها لو قابلت جروب تاني بتوقف الفلاشنج بتاعها وتلاحظ الفلاشنج بتاع الother group, then they start to repeat like the other group to work as one team. We read in the text that they use flashing to attract mate or to warn predators. Now we collected sufficient pieces of evidence to prove that our claim is correct. Let's think, how can these pieces of evidence support our claim? What makes us sure that these pieces of evidence are correct? That's why you should explain the pieces of evidence you collect and how they are related to the question. بعد ما كتبنا الكليم وابتدينا كمان نقول الإيفيدنس بتاعنا، هنبتدي نوضح ليه الإيفيدنس ده صح، اللي هي الإكسبلانيشن. We can say that whales use sounds to communicate in the dark bottom of the ocean to find a mate and to get food. احنا كنا متفقين ان الويلز عادة بتستخدم الساوندز بتاعتها لان هي موجودة في الديب اوشن، والديب اوشن is really dark as light cannot reach. They can change sound pitch in different seasons to meet their needs. وبيغيروا الساوند pitches اللي هي حدة الصوت لان المية بتتغير ساقعة وسخنة في different seasons، وده بيأثر على انتقال الصوت. Fireflies males can also use light flashes mainly to attract a mate and warn predators. الفايرفلايز males الذكر بتاع الفايرفلاي بيستخدم الفلاشز to attract a mate في موسم التزاوج أو عشان يحذر البريداتورز. Now we know how to write a claim. Let's start recording your claim on page 112. Write your pieces of evidence in the left column and explain your piece of evidence and how they support the claim. After you finish writing your claim, you are ready to use it in your scientific explanation about the main question. How do animals, including humans, use light, sound, and other methods to communicate? Remember all pieces of evidence that you have collected while writing the claim and how we explain the pieces of evidence. Don't forget to write your scientific explanation about the main question. For example, if I write a scientific explanation, I will say that animals use light, sound, and motion to send and receive information. Then I write examples like fireflies, humpback whales, ants, or bees. In addition, I write that humans use different communication systems to send and receive information using sound and light. لو أخدتوا بالكم في الاكسبلانيشن بتاعي الأول اتكلمت عن الانيمالز ازاي بيستخدموا الصوت، ازاي بيستخدموا الضوء والحركة في ان هم يتواصلوا، واديت اكزامبلز على الثلاث حاجات. وبعد كده اتكلمت على الهيومنز ازاي بيقدر يستخدم الضوء والصوت عشان يتواصل. لو انتوا فاكرين مورس كود كنا استخدمنا فيه الضوء والصوت. Then I'll give examples. Take your time and write your scientific explanation on page 113. Now that we have finished our scientific explanations, you must be excited to know how scientists use their information about communication between living organisms to create tools to help humans. In activity number 12, Analyze Like a Scientist, we will learn and explore more about STEM in action to know how communication techniques could help technology. لو انتوا فاكرين STEM in action كنا دايما بنتكلم على job related للساينس, technology, engineering and mathematics. Let's analyze this text, technology inspired by nature. Underline important information and think of other things we discovered about communication systems in animals that can help people in our community or solve a problem we have. After reading the text, let's think of how bats' echolocation inspired scientists to invent a cane, help blind people. بعد ما قرينا التكست تعالوا نشوف ازاي الايكولوكيشن اوف باتس تحديد المواقع عن طريق صدى الصوت ساعد الساينتست ان هم يخترعوا عصايه للاشخاص اللي مش بيشوفوا. Let me explain it. Let me explain first how the echo happens. Have any of you ever been in an open place near to a mountain or on a trip or even in a huge building? When you say something loud and then you hear it repeated. جربتوا قبل كده تكونوا في مكان واسع وبعدين قلتوا حاجة بصوت عالي وسمعتوا الحاجة دي بتتكرر؟ You may have wondered about the source of the sound. The repeated sound that you heard is your voice. This sound travels the air and hits a huge building or the mountain near to you. Let's see how. If you are here and there is a mountain there, what happens when you shout your name? The sound moves in the air, hitting the mountain, then returns back to you. This is what we call echo. Echo happens when you are at least 17 meters away from the surface, reflecting the voice direction. What about bats? In the second concept, we learned that bats are nocturnal animals. They use echolocation to move and find their prey's location without hitting objects around them, like what happens in the dark places. Let's see how the bat do this. When a bat makes sounds, the sound moves in the air, hitting a barrier, لو هنا في barrier, or the prey. Maybe this barrier, it's the prey. And when the sound hit the prey, it's going to return back to the bat. And that's how it can know its prey location, or that there is something is nearby. Bats use echo to tell where and how far away objects are. أخدتوا بالكم بيعرفوا where is the location and is it far or near. How does this happen? Bats can calculate the time the echo takes to bounce to it. تعالوا نشوف لو حاجة قريبة إيه اللي هيحصل. If the prey is near, if this is the prey and it's near to the bat, the sound will go, hit it and return back to the bat. It will take less time than the faraway prey. The bat can calculate the time it takes for the sound to bounce off. If the echo takes a short time, then it doesn't need to travel a long distance. And if the echo travels for long distance or it takes long time, so it means that the prey is far away. How did scientists use an animal adaptation to design a new invention like a cane to help blind people? Let me show you the picture. Let me show you the picture of the blind people cane. The cane emits high-pitched sound, similar to the sound pitch of the bat. الكين العصاية هتطلع صوت عالي. الصوت ده شبه صوت الباتس. As a person walks with the cane, an echo from the sound is picked up by the cane. الصوت هيخرج من العصاية يخبط في الأوبجكتس يرجع تاني للكين والكين هتستقبل الصوت. The echo is turned into vibrations. So the person can feel. The cane will change the sound. الساوند اللي هي استقبلته هتبتدي تحوله ل vibrations عشان ال blind people يبتدوا يحسوا بيه. How can this happen? This part of the cane, can you see this part of the cane? This part of the cane touches the person's thumb. So they feel the vibration. If the vibrations were high or strong, users would know an object is in their way. Now you can analyze the questions in the book on page 116. Next, we will discuss together the questions you have answered. ما تنسوش ان احنا قلنا ان العصاية بتشتغل بالايكو زي البات ايكوز بالظبط. زيادة عليها بيبقى فيه vibrations to let the people feel if the object is far or near. The questions that I want to discuss the most are the third and the fourth questions. The third question is, what is one main difference between the cane and bat echolocation? The cane picks up an echo and changes it into vibration, so blind people can feel it. Bats do not change the echo into vibration. أول اختلاف ما بين الكين وما بين البات إن البات بتستقبل الصوت بس ما بتحولوش لفايبريشن، لكن الكين كانت لازم تحوله لفايبريشن so the blind people can feel it. Regarding the similarity, the thing that's similar between them, they both use echo, and this was the answer to the second question. The fourth question is one of the most important questions that can help us understand the connection and find the similarities among the topics we learn. Think back to how honeybees communicate with each other. Do you remember the honeybees? How are the cane and honeybee dance similar? فاكرين الhoneybee dance? When the bees move like this, vibrating, returning back, then vibrating and returning back. What are the similarities? Think of this. Exactly, vibrations. Honeybees move in a figure-8 pattern while vibrating their wings to know the direction and distance to the resources. Canes use vibration the same way to communicate to the person using it where objects around them are located. How the information that we learned about animals' communication would help our community. يا ترى المعلومات اللي احنا اتعلمناها دي ازاي هتساعد المجتمع بتاعنا؟ For example, I thought that different animals' pattern could help us create sound and light codes that can help us in certain situations. Think carefully of this question and discuss it together. Share your answers to this question. Use the QR code on the screen. Now we reached to the end of our lesson. We have reviewed the investigative phenomena and we wrote a scientific explanation for the main question. فاكرين scientific explanation كان بيمشي ازاي؟ كان أول حاجة بنكتب claim, then evidence, then we explain this evidence. We also learned how bats' adaptation and their echolocation helped scientists design a new invention to help blind people. Remember that we used one of the key vocabulary, which is echolocation. Let's add it to our concept wall. ما تنسوش إن الباتس بتستخدم echolocation to know the place of their prey or to avoid obstacles. Remember to write your definition of it in the third column in the table. التيبل ده اللي احنا اتفقنا من أول حصة هنكتب فيه new words والmeaning بتاعها. Be ready for a quick revision on the information we have learned in the communication and information transfer concepts. And we are going to do our unit project. Do you remember it? Bat Chat. Be ready and see you next time. Bye bye.